performance, your own habits. Okay, number 4 is a really simple one. They always come to class prepared. This means consistently having the course syllabus, the textbook, if it's required by the instructor, a notebook containing past handouts, past notes, paper for new notes, pens, pencils, scantrons on test days, etc. Now, that should sound pretty obvious to you. A lot of my students show up and they always have everything they're supposed to have. Other people, it's an adventure. And I've had people get their elbow going again. A lot of students have wild elbows. And they come in and I start teaching and I see them doing this. Hey, hey. And the person says, yeah, you have an extra pen? And they say, yeah. And they reach and they give them one. Thanks, thanks. You have some paper? And they're just, elbowing. And I just look at that person and again, I think of them as a professional student. If I went into a meeting at my job with my boss and all these other people, and it's a very important meeting, and I said, does anyone have a pen and paper? That would be really unprofessional for me, and everybody knows that, but then when it comes to being a student, like I said, people sometimes get kind of lazy with that. So when you show up to your classes, are you always prepared most of the time, or do you always forget something? Again, everybody is different with that. Okay, and then the last one on this side is they are consistently on time, or even a little early, so they can be prepared for the class. Being on time, pretty much without fail, is a sign of respect for the instructor and class. It's a demonstration that school is important to them, and it's an important personal habit to apply to all life situations. You know that in this country, thousands of people get fired from jobs every day because they're late a lot. That's sad, especially in this economy. It's hard to find a job, so you don't want to lose it. Well, again, in my experience, it's almost the same as this. When my students show up on time, almost all the time, just maybe late a couple times during the semester, the numbers are almost the same as this. And when they show up late constantly, it becomes more like this. And that doesn't even have anything to do with the course work, but usually when someone is there and they're on time, it sort of means they're very serious about the class and they work hard on everything and end up doing well. So how are you with that, just in everything in your life? Do you always show up on time or early? Are you almost always late everywhere you go, or is it somewhere in between? Again, that's something for you to think about. Okay, so we'll go back to these in just a little bit, but you can go ahead and turn the page. And I want to talk about the rest of these. And by the way, just so that I don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and start this sign-in sheet now. So again, when this gets to you, if you could just fill out the information and pass it along so it doesn't get stuck, that would be good. So I'd appreciate that. Okay, number 6 at the top of the back side is, I guess, a very important one to me personally, and I think it would be to you if you were a teacher also. It says, they are respectful to the instructor and to classmates at all times. This means that they pay attention during lectures, regardless of whether or not the topic being discussed is interesting. And they do that by staying awake, sitting up, working hard to listen, and sometimes it's hard, maintaining at least fairly frequent eye contact, etc. In addition, they avoid doing anything that will be distracting to others in the room. This includes having running conversations with classmates, having their cell phone ring, text messaging, or doing anything else unrelated to what's going on in class at that time. Well, as you look at all of that there, you know how you are as a person. You know a lot better than I do. When you're in your classes, do you do any of these things that are mentioned that aren't so good to do, or do you never do them? And I'll give you a couple of